in the midst of that, I was journaling. And I remember, I think it was a podcast I was listening to. I don't remember where I heard it first, but this message was talking about the Exodus narrative and how this is a theme that you see in multiple places in Scripture, where you've got like a people who are rescued from slavery, and then over on this side you have a promised land, but in between is a wilderness.
Right.
And it kind of clicked in my mind like, oh, so as a follower of Jesus, I've been rescued from slavery. Like I've given my life to Jesus. I've been rescued from slavery to sin. And one day every tear will be wiped away and God's home will be among his people and all will be good, right? There'll be no more sorrow and no more pain. So what's the middle? It's the wilderness. And I had always thought of wilderness as seasons. Like, oh, I went through a wilderness season in my life. And it was a complete reframe of like, no, this life is the wilderness. And that's not a fatalistic, like, oh, life stinks and then you die.
Right.
But it's a sense of like, this life will always be a mix of beauty and brutality.
Right.
It will always be this weird tension of all of these things where you have amazing things happening and really hard things happening, and they overlap, and you kind of don't know necessarily what to do with all of that. That is life.
Right.
And I had been trying to figure out how to get out of life, or believing that if I just did the right things, then life was going to be what I wanted it to be. Like it was going to be this, mountaintop, everything works out experience. And it just wasn't the case.
Right.
And what God was teaching me was all of your disappointments are built on unmet expectations, but you're not examining your expectations. You're just disappointed in me, and you're just disappointed in your circumstances. Maybe look at your expectations. And that for me was such a profound thing of going, wait a minute, I have an expectation of myself and of God that isn't even biblical,
Right.
let alone reasonable, right? And it just unlocked. I mean, I wish I could get all the money I gave my counselor back, because it unlocked, I'm kidding. I love him. I still see him to this day. But it unlocked all of this thing for me. And it really, you talk about that sense, did I have that sense of relief when I left the church? No, that was the moment that I had that sense of relief.
Oh, okay.
And it was going, oh, like, yeah, wilderness. And so like even recently I get a call from a friend. It's like, hey man, my wife's divorcing me. And my heart breaks for him.
Right.
And then there's a part of me now that goes, wilderness.
Right.
Yeah, this is what happens when you live in the wilderness. Sometimes it's really dry and barren. And sometimes there's beautiful oases. And at night, sometimes the sky looks amazing. And sometimes it's really stinking cold, right? It's all of those things at the same time. And so that became a significant, the most profound transition for me in my whole life. And it's helped put pieces of the puzzle together from my childhood. I never really sat around going, why did this happen to me as a child? I mean, I did do that with the ministry thing, ironically. That was really where I probably felt that the worst with the church transitions. But what it did is it allowed me to see like, yeah, my dad, who passed away a couple of years ago, literally drank himself to death alone in a house that he lived in by himself. And as heartbreaking as that is, I do believe he knew Jesus. I just don't think he could ever embrace the grace that Jesus offered him for himself.
Right.
That's wilderness. That's life in the wilderness. And that became kind of the genesis of what turned into the book, which was my own experience of like, okay, I need to really reframe and rethink how I view the world. And then rather than try and figure out how to get out of the wilderness, what if I really focused on trying to see God in the midst of it? Because the beautiful thing about, God sends sends Israel into the wilderness, and then he's with them the whole time.
Right.
And he's a pillar, he's a cloud, he provides. He's like, look, if you just trust me, we'll be good.
Right.
And they don't.
Of course.
No. Yeah. I don't understand that at all. It's a weird pattern, but they don't. Yeah. But that's the theme, right? And so for me, that's been the most profound thing. Just as I tie my whole world, my whole life together, that's been the core themes.
Well, the thing I don't get though is I thought to be a Christian, you had to be perfect. Am I off a little bit there?
Yes. Okay. By a long shot.
A long shot, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the funny thing is that I don't even think that most of us I think most of us realize that it's not about being perfect.
Right.
But I do think we fall into this trap of performative Christianity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where it's like, I have to look at least like I've got it together.
Right.
Like, yeah, I struggle with sin, right? I still love that, leading guys groups. It's like, hey, I'm struggling with pornography. Yeah. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not. If you say you're struggling, you're not struggling. You're engaging in. So struggling is different. So it's like we love to round the edges of sin, and there becomes this kind of performative thing at times. And again, I don't think it's malicious I don't think it's front of mind. I think a lot of times it's part of our defense mechanism of protecting.
Right.
And like I can, like, my dad can genuinely love Jesus and be a raging alcoholic, and both things can be true.
Right.
Are they ideal? No.
Right.
But is anything in this life ideal? No.
Right.
And so the kind of trying to step away from binary thinking, I think for me was huge, and going, okay, it doesn't mean that to follow Jesus means that I put sin to death. Well, yeah, of course that's my pursuit, but that's not linear. My spiritual growth is not linear.
Right.